Have you ever noticed that social media comments are looking the same, being sent at the same time, but it's from different profiles? Let's discuss. Hello and welcome to the In a Nutshell podcast with myself, Andrew Miles Davis, and my co-host Chris Branch. This is the daily 10-minute podcast where we take out all of the techie talk around generative AI and focus on what the everyday person, content creator, and marketer wants to hear. Now, I've only got 10 minutes, so we can only focus on one subject. And today, we're going to be talking about automation and AI's job within that. And the reason why we want to talk about this is because Chris sent me a LinkedIn post from somebody who just took a screenshot of one of his posts. And this is a very popular LinkedIn personality. And it was the same message, probably about 5 or 6 times, the exact same words, but from different profiles. So we're going to discuss this and kind of explain why. So Chris, do you want to explain how this kind of came about?
Yeah, so it's been a long way coming, to be honest. The funny thing is every week we discuss a different thing that a lot more people have access to. So Midjourney, everyone can make art, ChatGPT, everyone can make text. Well, automation has been the last sort of thing, and that's kind of curious, right? Like creativity was first. I thought business automation would have been first for sure, but it seems like a lot more people are understanding that this is a use case now. And in the meantime, we have had silly, dumb automated tools that didn't involve AI in any way. And the reason that everyone's ending up with the same comments right now is they're all using the same tool in the same way. So GPT-4 has this incredible thing called computer vision, where you can feed it an image and it can give you a witty comment because it understood what was in that image. Now, dumb automation tools never had this. So they would just simply comment generic things and just guess on the post and make it as generic as possible, because then you're more likely to make sense, because the post could be about anything and your automation didn't know anything about that post. But
Yeah.
now we have AI tools that can understand what the post was about, read the copywriting, even look at the image, and then write you a witty caption. The problem is everyone's using the same formula to get that caption, and then you get repeated comments, and it looks ridiculous. It
Yeah.
honestly does look ridiculous. Like if you're a marketer who's been through all of the automation in the past, you know exactly what they're doing, and it's just so bleedingly obvious. To others out
Mm.
there, it will just seem really perplexing and suspicious, and they
Yeah.
just don't know what's going on, no doubt, because they don't understand that AI can look at images and write text like that. Like they just are
Yeah.
unaware that that's possible. But that's exactly what's going on, and LinkedIn is being swarmed with it. And you mentioned sales messages. Now, you don't need computer vision to send a sales message. That could just be any automated tool without the need for vision, right?
Yeah.
But this is the next level, and it is damaging people's reputation, honestly.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that springs to mind. So I think if you look at it, I guess the first wave of this was where people would use certain tools or certain platforms, and they would leave a message, but the message would be quite generic, and that will be something like,
Mm.
or they leave a comment, and it will say something like, "Oh, that was fire," and then put the fire emoji, and that could be for anything what anyone's pretty much posted. It wasn't specific for the
Yeah,
particular
yeah.
type of tool.
Great
Now you're
post,
saying,
thumbs up.
yeah, great post. Yeah, all of that. Now you're saying that they can look at the image. You can program it into like a GPT. They can look at the image and then they can say if it was an image of, I don't know, a boxer uppercutting someone and knocking them out. You can say, wow, great uppercut. So they can actually make reference to the image so it looks a bit more personal. But the problem is it's not like if you ask ChatGPT, write me a 500-word essay on the state of mental health and social media, because everyone will get different essays because it's like a sentence. You're pretty much getting the same thing. So I guess that's one thing, which is quite smart actually. It's very smart.
I know you're the
Yeah.
LinkedIn guru who's been passing out this exact framework, but I can even tell you because someone accidentally posted the exact prompt that they used alongside the comment. It
Oh,
said,
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
it said, leave a 65 character response about this person's post whereby you take into account the copywriting and the image and make it so that it doesn't seem salesy. That literally was the prompt. So that was
Wow.
written underneath the thing that then was generated in order to make that person look the dumbest person on LinkedIn. You know, I've actually seen that. So
That's crazy. Yeah. The thing is,
yeah,
I just
like
think to myself, the amount of effort they would probably put coming up and taking it, copy and pasting it, putting it into Chat GPT, waiting for the answer, copying it, pasting it in, not looking if anyone else has done the same thing. You might as well just exercise your brain and say, well, actually, let me come up with something
But
witty
the
to
thing is,
respond.
mate, I don't think that is what they're doing. They are basically
Mm.
clicking a button, which is then analyzing posts doing well, and then they're being automatically fed into this
Ah,
thing. And so
okay.
now there's genuine benefits to doing it. That's the reason they're doing it. It will extend
Yeah.
their network. Your posts are more likely to show up on these people's profiles. Like you're
Yeah.
also potentially, drawing traffic from their posts. So it's all selfish, but it looks dumb. It's like dumb marketing, It's really
Yeah.
a bad showcase of who you are. Now, let's say you were talking to a potential client and they just
Mm.
wanted to go and look at your LinkedIn profile and they were
Yeah.
savvy enough to go and, see your recent activity and then they're
Mm.
going to go and see the same dumb automated comment written hundreds of times. Do you think they're
Mm.
going to hire your services after that?
Yeah.
Like, if they
Mm.
have any brain cells, the answer's no. But to get their attention is the thing that's what they wanted, so it's
Yeah.
difficult.
One thing I've known about marketing, and I've seen so many different ways to kind of game the system across so
Mm.
many different platforms. I used to sell a lot of stuff on Amazon. I've seen the way people game Amazon on reviews.
Yeah.
Social media, I've seen people game social media. I've seen people use black hat methods to game SEO. This is just another, there's always going to be. Gary Vaynerchuk once said, marketers ruin everything. And I always remember that saying. And it's very true. It's always going to be a game of cat and mouse. Like, okay, let's try and do this and let's try and shortcut that. And this seems to be like another one of them. Um, the second thing that you mentioned, though, was the sales messages. You
Yeah.
know, I get inundated but for the last year, I probably get about 20 plus messages a day across
Mm-hmm.
email, across different social media platforms. And it's usually, hey, I can get you X amount of leads, or I can
Yeah.
get you this. And it's just like, I ignore it now. And then
Yeah.
then you can tell where the AI and the automation kicks in is because after 3 or 4 days, you'll get another saying, hey, I noticed that you didn't get back to me, or and some people will have certain scripts written where they can tell that you've opened it as well. They'll be like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
noticed you opened the email," and I've even had people come back to me getting rude to me. They'll be like, "Oh, I've noticed you open it, or you don't have, or you think you're so important you can't respond to me, or things
Yeah.
like that." I guess
They
that's
do
more of an
anything to get your
emotion
attention.
I get back, yeah, to get my
Mate, some
attention.
of the cleverest ones I've ever seen, right? Some guy fucking emailed me that, sorry for my language, the other day, and he goes, CC Chris, as though it was a message I'd bloody
Yeah,
already answered. And he made
yeah.
me open up an email and he goes, got ya in the first sentence. He goes, I bet you thought this was a thread amongst your colleagues. Well,
Really.
here's 10 leads a day on, pipeline.com or whatever. And you're like, oh, bro, that just makes me hate you more, because now I'm going to be in your sales trap. And I'm like,
No, the
tricking
thing is,
anyone into anything is not good.
when I see stuff like that, I think to myself, all right, that was clever, but it's not going to get me your service. I'm just
Exactly.
like, oh, yeah, smart. Like, that was good the way, or
Exactly.
that's a different way of doing it. But I'm not going to use your service
Yeah.
regardless. It's just like back in the day when you used to, I don't know if people still bother with their voicemail, but people used to leave a voicemail and they used to say hello. And then they'll wait for a few seconds, and then because people will then say responding, they'll be like, gotcha, da 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 da. It's almost
Yeah.
like that. It's the 2024 version of that. Um, but yeah,
But
I
here's
think
the
that
thing, mate. We'll have to make a future episode about this because, like, the sales messages thing is its whole other thing, right?
yeah,
Because you can now make an AI model of your voice and then have the AI send it as WhatsApp notes and make them personalized. Like, you
yeah,
can make this smart and it can be used to better your stuff. But right now, it's being used lazily, sloppily, and it's detrimental. That's the
yeah. I think
sum of like where we are.
yeah, it's lazy. I think that the technology is obviously there already, and I think that and one of the things that we often teach in our training sessions how to use it in a very clever way.
Mm.
It's it's people are being lazy with it, or it might not even be lazy. They might not just know, but the people being like, they're not really, they're doing something that everyone else can do, you know, and that kind of is makes it obvious. People, we can work out, just people in general can work out when something has been automated quite quickly now. It's not like it was 5, 10 years ago. You know, now we can work that out very, very quickly, especially when we're receiving the same message 50 times in across 2 days. You can work out that after a while, okay, this is not a real person, this is automated. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, for this one, it's something that me and Paul have had as an ethos since AI started, and that is just because you have scale now doesn't mean you should abuse it. You know,
Yeah.
just because you can send 1,000 automated LinkedIn messages now doesn't mean you should do that. Like, it's actually not a good idea. So, like, you know, just be smart about where AI makes sense in your business services, because you definitely, if you're like us, don't want to damage your personal reputation
Yeah,
by having AI talk on your behalf and talk gibberish.
exactly. Protect your brand.
Yeah.